Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are here, man. Late vibes. You know the score. Lot to discuss with the brothers in the building. Man like Coop Baller in the building, fresh trim. What you say, bro?
Yes, sir, man. I'm good. How are you guys, man? I'm good. Good to be here, guys. Make sure you subscribe and like the live.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hit the like button if you can, people.
Oh, I'm seeing Amorim out already.
Yeah, man. Listen, I don't know what's going on, man. I genuinely don't know what's going on with the fan base. I think we've lost it. We've actually lost it as a fan base. But listen, we're here to discuss it. You know what I mean? Shout out to the chat. We always have open and honest conversation on this channel. That's what we do here. We don't hide away from everything. We're not an echo chamber. And
somebody said, Saeed. Somebody said it's so late, I'm getting Viagra ads. I thought that was funny.
yo, crazy. But big up to Ange. Ange, how are you, man? Had a good week?
I'm good, bro. It's been like 35 degrees plus here this week, so it's been a hot week in Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Ain't no hot here, man. Minus one round here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Man, like my brother Old Ski in the building. You heard? What you telling me?
Go on, brother. What we saying, fam?
Come on.
What to do? Inge, you better behave this week. No glute staring for you, huh, brother? All right,
what's that?
I said you better behave this week. No glute staring for you.
Yeah.
Yo, big up. First of all, I want to shout out my boys, man. I miss y'all and I look forward to every week. Shout out my boy Estrella. He not here yet, or Brian.
Yeah.
Estrella don't show up, and my boy Temmy's supposed to be on here. And shout out most importantly to chat for keeping me entertained and talking nonsense half the time. I already see Amorim out. And personally, I just think it's time for fans out. That's really what I'm gonna say. That's what you can put. Manchester United fans out. You know what I'm saying?
Fans out.
Yeah, fans out is the fact that people are out here calling for a man's head who actually knows footy for the first time of our life, and he wants to stick to his principles and his morals, and we want him out. I don't know what to tell you, Saeed, but I'm gonna let you take the realm. And
What
again, shout out Chat though for tuning in, shout out Chat for always being here. Disrespectful or not, the respectful ones and the disrespectful one. I still love you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man. Listen, we're going to discuss. Brian, like I said, will be here. I think Adam Fahimi said he'll come in as well. And obviously, man, like Estrella, he's on a date, you know what I mean, with his client. But he won't reveal who the date is. You know what I'm there. But shout out to Estrella in the building. But yeah, man, let's discuss this. News coming out that the players are not happy with Amorim's formation. Yes, already they are not happy, or allegedly, should I say, not happy. Some Man United players have discussed among themselves whether a change of plan that is better suited to their style of play might be the best way forward. There's a growing concern among some players that the teething problems that they have experienced under Amorim are not going to improve unless he considers at least tweaking the system. So already players not really happy with what's going on.
I have a question, which is ironic. So when we did have a coach that played the system and it didn't work out, and then we changed the system for it to work out.
Yeah.
And now we want another system for it to work out. I'm confused. When all it was a 4-2-3-1. That was a coach that played that system, right?
Fact.
Then we got Ten Hag that came a 4-2-3-1, and that's a coach that played that system, and that failed miserably, even worse than Ole did. So I'm just trying to understand, if we want Amorim out, what's the solution? We're going to sit here and big up Van Nistelrooy for winning 3 games with us?
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying now. There's revisionism on Van Nistelrooy. You know the ones there.
Again, Saeed, Paul Pogba, at one point I was coming at him back in the day for work ethic and this, but Paul Pogba, when he left, he said, there's L's and there's Manchester United fans. And at this point, I'm starting to see that. I'm not going to sit here and say that Amorim is the best thing since sliced bread, but I feel like we could all agree that we actually see an identity of football on the pitch, win or lose. Sometimes, yeah, it's shitty. But again, it's our players. If your players can't adapt to the new system, then I don't really know what to tell. I really don't know what to say, nor tell these people. At the end of the day, it's one of those that you're just going to have to sit there and pray for it. But we had a coach that played the system that these players wanted. And if these people are calling for Amorim out already, right, but yet we kept Ten Hag after winning an FA Cup, I really don't know what to tell people, honestly. It's more so it's more so ridiculous.
I think people are just not happy with the fact that how bad it has been. You know what I mean? Like, I know Ange's bursting out to kind of maybe criticize the manager and whatnot, but like, where do you see Ange in terms of the performances, the story that you just seen now here? Does it align with? Are you kind of like not surprised by this all?
Let's use Amorim's own words. Yeah, you know, when he first came in, one of the first things we said is, if he's a really good manager, you'll start to see some improvements in these players. They'll never hit the heights that we want them to hit, which is winning the Premier League and all that stuff. But good managers improve average players. That's part of, and I said this on this show. I'm like, hey, if Amorim's a really good manager, in 3 months, 4 months, we'll start to see some improvements in players.
I hate to interrupt you. I hate to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just want to get something off my chest before you go on the rant. Average players. Do you think our players are average? Be honest. Because honestly, a bunch of them are below average. So if anything,
we can discuss that. Let me just clean this up and then you can jump in. Because I just want to make a point. So that was my view initially. And then if you listen to Amorim's own words, what he said at the time was, for people to believe in my system and my ideas, we need to start getting performances, and some results, but more importantly, performances. That's how people buy in. That's just psychology, basic psychology. If you see, it's that reward mechanism. Yeah, if you're rewarded with good performance or whatever, higher salary at work, whatever it is, then you'll continue that behavior. But if you're not rewarded, if you're punished, or you're somehow something's taking away from you, you're not playing well, you're not scoring goals, or you're not performing well, then that reward mechanism is not there for you to continue to believe in that idea. Yeah, and that is what's happening. It's basic human psychology, and I know we are blinded by hate for these players. I get it. A lot of these players have not lived up to expectations. I get it. But what's happening at the moment is that the players, after 3 months, it's been about 3 months, is that they're not seeing any reward for this new system and this new idea that I'm. That's what's happening at the moment. It's basic psychology. And
but then why did you give up so soon? No, you can't give up so soon.
It's been 3 months. So all I'm saying is, if there's been and part of it is just like you only need gradual improvement. It's 1% improvement every week. If we're not even saying that, I remember the first like month, the performances.
There's a lot of people in the comments, but they're not happy. This is crazy.
I think it's fair.
But Saeed, half these people in the comments are low-key, high key clues, and we see that every time we hop on the chat.
But we have to.
No,
we have to say that this is what they don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like this.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If there's you cannot sit here and say you don't like it when this is the same team we inherited that shit. It was not a good team. Let's be honest. I don't want to hear we could improve a bad team. When Ole took over Mourinho, he had a way better squad than what we had now. Hence, why we saw some good runs.
What do we do well, Omar? This is a question that I was asking myself the other day. If you think about all the aspects of football in terms of moving the ball from one side to the other, keeping the ball, movement, creating chance. Like, what aspect of football do you think that we're doing well or we're improving in? That's all. Are you able to help me answer that question?
No, there's a lot that I can see that we're doing well, bro. In terms of there's certain games, yes, where it's like, oh my God, this is dreadful to watch, right? But it's more dreadful to watch because the players that you have in the pitch and you have in the system is just not they can't translate what it does. Eric Ten Hag had them in these players playing in that system, and they still couldn't translate what Eric Ten Hag was. And that was the biggest, I think, personally, the biggest issue that we had faced with under Eric Ten Hag. The players were not getting the tactics that this man wants to do. And then who got cooked? It was Eric Ten Hag. Now we got someone who we all knew from the beginning is not gonna happen because we were all skeptical because he plays with a whole different what you call the system. Right? We could all agree.
So what do we do well? What do we do? What are we doing well under Amorim? If you look at it, and you go, "Hey,
let's talk about
what can I cling to?"
A question to answer, man.
What can I cling on to? That's all I'm asking.
The big games we do well. The big games we do well.
Let's look at the big games. What
football? What aspects in terms of building up, in terms of keeping the ball, in terms of winning the ball back, in terms of create? What aspect of football do you see improve? I'm not even asking what do we do great, because we don't do anything great. That's obvious. But where are you seeing some improvements? You go, I can see what's happening on the training pitch is translating to what's happening on game day.
I don't think we can see as many shots as we used to. There's more of a structure to our game. Can we all say our team is a bit more structured?
There's a structure.
We're not open. We're not open in terms of our like before. You could see so many holes in the pitch. I think our possession is better. I think our understanding of what we're trying to do on the ball is a little bit better, but it's not being executed well. And that's the final problem we have. That final ball, getting the ball into feet, getting Hoyle into the game. Personnel is a big thing, but that's on the manager. I think the manager's getting that wrong, if I'm being honest with you. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to Adam, my guy Adam in the building. But I think there's a few things that we are doing well, but I'm not going to lie to you.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's a good answer. I think that's fair. I think we are the reason we don't concede as many shots.
Because I see a lot of nonsense. And people said that I couldn't answer. I still wasn't done finishing my answer, by the way.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. Yeah, to be fair.
I really wasn't done. I just took the realm. But I'm going to talk about structure. I'm going to talk about identity. Right. I'm going to talk about which players and the type of style and profile of players that he looks to play. But nobody here wants to sit and talk about if we sit here and watch counts on every goal scored on us since Amorim started. Let's talk about players and how the hell are these goals coming in? We could sit here and revisit every single opportunity And these players are it's gonna mind blow you. Let's talk about opportunities missed. Perfect example. Garnacho last game, right? He could square the ball to Højlund to put this whole misery, but decides to take the shot himself. Is Amorim gonna come on the pitch and do the job for you now? So many times we've seen 3-on-1, 2s-on-1s. Games could have been killed. Let's talk about who do we play before Leicester that we lost to 2-0. Oh, Palace. Let's talk about the first 20 minutes of that game. If we would have killed the game in the first 20 minutes, we would never been having this conversation. It's time to kill games. And that's not going to come on the manager. The manager is going to give you a layout that you need to play that's going to work. You know what I'm saying? In terms of this is when it's going to work. If players can't finish games and you have a number 9 who can't even hold the ball, what conversation are we entertaining right now? Boys, let's be honest with you. Okay, I can see the people crashing out in terms of let's look at we signed Dortmund to play as a left wing back, right? And then we played him as a right wing back, right? We could. I could see people crashing out in terms of that. Oh, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Why is he doing that? Again, the guy doesn't want to play with a left wing back, for example.
Wow, the fan base is turning. The fan base is turning.
I get it because the fan base wants wins. It's simple
finally
as
coming
that.
to us.
It is results as well. Yeah. But again, is it results style?
The fan base, we're always gonna sit here and be so happy, right? Because with the mere fact, let's look at Erik Ten Hag as example. When Erik Ten Hag clipped Ronaldo and we went on that crazy run since after the World Cup, bro, we thought we found Fergie. Everybody sat here, we found, and that's why people are still clinging on, because they're clinging on to the 2-1 and the 1-0 wins that we just kept on scrapping. And what did that do though? That never fixed the problem, bro. Can anybody here agree or disagree with me? I'd rather win long term. I think long ball. I'd rather win long ball than have short term wins and then go through these processes consistently and sit here and be like, well, last time I won the league was 13 years ago. I get we're always going to be tight. I'm a fan too, right?
Yeah.
And I got people in the comments talking about I'm being disrespectful to the fan, to the people in the chat. I'm never disrespectful to the people in the chat.
Do you believe that the manager? What's going wrong? Do you think for the manager though? I think maybe that's what I think a lot of people are not saying. You know, you're not seeing. Like, is there things that you see for the manager that you like? Yo, you must improve. You must do better. Or is it a case of we just got to ride it out, bro? We got to ride this out. This is what it's gonna be.
He has a certain mentality. Like again, let's use the wing backs because that's the biggest difficulties we've seen a lot, right? In terms on the pitch, and I'm pretty sure everybody here understands ball, and we can all agree on to this point. Again, Dalot on the left wing back has been atrocious, right or wrong?
Yeah, atrocious.
It's been atrocious, but he does not want to play with a left wing back that's only left-footed. He wants to play with a 2-footed left wing back, a 2-footed right wing back. So now forcing Dalot to play with his both feet has been criminal to me because that's suffered. It's been hard to deal with. You get what I'm saying? But again, that's his system, that's his principles, and once this works, it's gonna work.
Yeah, you know, big up to Adam in the building.
A man that was very successful with Braga and very successful with Sporting, and then people coming in and telling me all of a sudden now that he sucks. This is a problem that I feel like we face as United fans. We never hold. It's always the manager. It's always the manager. Well, the manager this, the manager that, the manager this, bro.
Yeah,
a manager is gonna give you. This is how we should play. This is not Arne Slot, boys. Arne Slot walked in a team that has a world-class winger, that has a world-class center back, that has a great keeper, that has at least one world-class midfielder. It's simple as that. There's a world-class player in each position. We've came to a team, and again, Ants to cover it. Our only world-class player is Bruno Fernandes. Let's be honest. And again, and you could tell me no. So if we're going to consider somebody world-class, the only one we could actually consider world-class based off of former stats, former numbers is Bruno. And maybe Casemiro when he was at Madrid. But Casemiro in Madrid had the two best midfielders technically of all time playing in front of him. So all he had to do was sweep a ball and bust a lace. And it's Madrid in La Liga that gets away with anything. Because the minute he came to us, we seen how many red cards was flying. So in reality, who's our world-class player? A kid that just was playing at Sunderland 2 seasons ago.
We don't have any world-class players. We don't have any world-class players.
We don't have a superstar, bro. And it's what ifs. What ifs? It's all what ifs, bro. And then again, people are going to tell you, oh, no, Bruno's not world class. I know he's not world class. I'm just saying, based off of former stats, are technically the only world class player is Bruno Fernandes. That's if we want to consider anybody on this team world class. We spent 72 million on a raw striker who is not ready. Yeah, we sat here and started celebrating. We spent 55 million on supposedly a seasoned goalkeeper that him by himself got us out of Champions League and Superstar this year, has been cooking us. But nobody wants to sit and say that, right? How much we got Xerxes, who's I got to give him credit for at least trying, but is not solving the answers, right? We spent another 75 million on Sancho and look where this is going. But let's talk about even recent purchases. The best signing we made was 13 million on Nusar Mazraoui. You could give that. Mason Mount barely could stay fit. Nobody wants to say nothing about that. Oh, but it's the coach. What are we gonna do right now? What the coach want you to do? Luke Shaw comes back from injury. You know, and you can't say nothing about the coach also too, because why? If you look at the recent ball playing, some players did improve. Let's talk about Lisandro Martinez. Everybody wanted him out. Get that midget out of here. He sucks. The boy did improve. We cannot lie. The boy didn't improve. Adam, you can't tell me he didn't improve.
Yeah, I can tell you that I don't think he improved. I don't think he improved.
I see improvement too. You can't tell me he didn't improve. You cannot tell me that. There's games where he comes
improve from what? Improve from what?
Are we still on Garnacho, Habibi?
No, I'm talking about Garnacho. I'm talking about Lisandro. I'm talking about this.
Lisandro, yes. He played better than
he coming off the bench. There's games where he was the liveliest players, unfortunately, on the pitch. And this is an average player. It's an average player.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult, man. Like, shout out to Adam. By the way, big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you like the video, people, man. There's a 1,000 of you in the building. Adam, it's difficult because the players are not really comfortable. Yeah, man. We're all here, different opinions, people, man. Adam, the players are apparently not happy with the system and the ID. The fans are not happy with it. You know what I mean? Should the manager change? Where would you say the manager needs to change? Is it approach? Do we have to go attacking? Do we have to, where do you think he needs to kind of just, kind of target and focus on for you?
Yeah, I'm just catching up on the news because I missed most of what happened today. And apparently it's been quite a busy day on social media and with Manchester United. But look, I'm not turning on the manager. I can't lie. I don't want him sacked or anything like that. But Saeed, I've been criticizing him for the last 2 or 3 weeks pretty heavily still.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I don't want him gone. I think there are players in there that need shocking, and like I told you, Saeed, many times, over the last month and a half, it's the first time since Jose Mourinho that I can't pick a starting 11 that I'm happy with. That's why I wanted all of the managers sacked. Like I said, if you give me the job, I can come in and pick a better 11 than Ten Hag, a better 11 than Ole, and they met at least on quality. This is the first time that I can't really do that because the squad is poor. It's really poor. But Amorim takes too much time to make some correct decisions. It's taking too long for some things to happen to click.
Yeah.
There are some things that are obvious that, I spoke about that. You don't mess with the defense. You have the best centre-back partnership or trio. Always play that one. Don't start getting this Maguire here and... No, I'm not happy with it. Dalot, Mazraoui, and Martinez. Not Dalot. De Ligt, Martinez, and Mazraoui is the best back three we have. At least the most functional, the one that concedes the less. He should stick with that. You sign Dorgu. It's not as if we had a good option at left wing back. I understand that Dorgu can play on the right. But look, it's difficult times. Play the left foot there. Take Dalot out of there. This is not something and this is not something that has anything to do with signings, players, of being hit 3 months or 6 years. This is an easy decision, regardless. He should get that right. I don't think Højlund should play as much as he does. I think it's taken too long to start playing in the number 10s, or at least trying to put other players in the number 10 positions. The Portuguese thing is driving me completely mad. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now it happens to be a Portuguese thing, but Bruno's been driving me mad since mid-2019. So this is a long-term thing with him. But surely we can try something else. And not something else in the sense of a different formation or different tactic. just with the tools you have, it appears to me from the outside that there are better decisions that he can do, that he can make. And he's not doing them. As for the players not being happy with the tactics and this and that, I can't listen to these players.
If it is true though, which again is, I think for me, the Daily Mail know what they're doing in it. They want to create a bit of headline. They want to put 2 and 2 together and be like, yo. But if it is true, and there is a bit of discontent, like it's not news that you want to hear so early in someone's career. Like, you know, it's almost like the Ralph Rangnick situation when they didn't want to run around and you start to hear about news about, you know, they don't want to train and like
exactly. And at this point, these journals and everything, they should say who, because we've had enough.
Yeah,
like we honestly had enough. Name them just so we know, because now we need to.
Yeah, they didn't. That's the thing. They didn't name them though. They didn't
Exactly.
name. They didn't name their sources, but they're never gonna name them. To be fair, but I get what you mean. Like,
Yeah, because we need to get the house in order. We need to get that. Who's not happy? Because just when was it? This week that Dallo said he believed Amorim can win the Premier League, something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously it doesn't appear to be Dallo, but then again, Dallo is playing all the time. So why would he have a problem?
This man Don talking, he won a Champions League with a back three. What we doing, Don? Come on, he won a Champions League with a back three. What we saying?
Exactly.
With a back three.
And everyone plays
with a back three. Now they talking Maresca out. They talking Maresca out. Come on, Don.
But don't you think?
Because when you see the formation before the game and it's a back four, that's the defensive shape. But in possession, everyone plays with the back three. And everyone's been playing with the back three.
Everyone plays that way, man. Look at Man City today. They had back seven, man. You know, but
just quickly, I think there should be people unhappy at the club. That's okay. We're not playing well. We're not performing well. Like, there should be players that are unhappy, challenging the status quo, and saying, "Hey, how can we improve?" The problem is that it goes out to the media, and it's people leaking to the Daily Mail or whatever. That's the problem. But I'm sure there should be heated debate between Amran and the players around, "Hey, this is working. This is not working. How can we improve on this? I don't like this. I like this." That's a healthy organization. That's a healthy situation to be in. If everybody's just quiet and saying, "Oh, whatever the manager says," and not challenging anything, I think we'd have a bigger problem.
I'd agree with you, Ange, if we had a set of players that actually showed something for years, and the managers come in and he's struggling. I would completely agree, but we haven't had that. We've had different managers come in, play for the back, different variations of for the back. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, even Ten Hag play 4-4-2. I haven't seen him play 4-4-2 at Ajax really that often.
I saw Maguire number 9.
if any. So we've had a manager come in and try different things, right? At the end of the day, if Amorim comes in and starts, okay, let me adapt here, let me change here, let me do this, he's going to look like a crazy person. You yourself is going to start criticizing him, saying, why is he constantly changing his formation? That's what people are going to say. People are never going to be happy. It's just the reality. At least, why I'm not as focused on formation is because at least I can chill and be like, okay, we know our system. This is how we're going to play. The only time it becomes a problem is if the people who hired him, Ineos, start moving differently and say they wanted something else. They want something different entirely. We are basing our whole transfer window and what we're doing forward based on this system. It only becomes a problem when the people who hired him start acting different. So we hired him for this formation. It's not a big deal. People are just upset the football isn't great. A change of formation isn't going to change that. People are too hamstrung on it's the 3 at the back that's making us not.
What's going to change that, Brian?
Better players.
Change the football?
Better players. Better personnel.
So how many first-team players are we going to sign in? How many first-team players are we going to sign in this summer?
We know it's not a situation that's going to take just one summer.
Couple of summer
windows. Summer. It's not going to take 2 summers. It's going to take maybe 2-3 summers to get where we want to. Hopefully where we want to be. Right? Look at Manchester City today. This is a team that won the treble. What's happened? A decrease in quality of personnel. Same manager, same ownership, same everything. You can go through many things. Even with us, with Sir Alex Ferguson, when we declined after winning the Champions League in 2008, just a drop of quality reduces how good your team is. We play the same formation. At the end of the day, I'd like to. It's an easy discussion to say sack Amorim and we'll get better, or he should change his form. It's an easy conversation.
It's
The hard
easy.
conversation is, do we have good players? We don't. We don't have a top striker. Someone was saying, "Oh, but look at Newcastle. This. But look at Newcastle's two midfield pivot is better than ours. They have a better abstract than ours.
They have a world class striker.
They have a better goalkeeper than ours.
They have a
So what are
great
we
winger.
talking?
Can I ask you a question?
Great winger.
But the thing is, for me though, I think where people are
No, look at
frustrated is,
midfield alone.
how do you then
Welton,
improve what we have?
Unai.
Oh my, 1 second. The way Leicester played in that first half, yeah, people are asking why are they playing better than us when they're not better than us in quality? Why are they playing the way they do and we're not playing the way we do? That's
Yeah,
why
but doesn't that happen? That happened with Ten Hag as well, though.
Sorry?
And it's not really just about Ten Hag. It's the intensity. Manchester United don't have intensity. We lack players.
That the manager?
But should we?
You can't really change that as a manager. You can't. Yeah, go ahead.
Just quickly, sorry. For me, didn't you have any red flags when we got played by Southampton at home? We got thoroughly outplayed. Are my eyes deceiving me? And the other point is just listen to Amrin's words. And when he started, he goes, when we weren't playing great, we were playing better in his first couple of weeks than we are now. But let me close on this point.
I just want to address this because this mod, Big Ben's or whatever the fuck your name is.
Yeah, Big Ben. Sure.
Where have I gassed up what signing? I said Ugarte would be an important player for us.
Okay.
Is he not an important player for us?
Okay.
What did I gas up Euro? I never even talked about Euro. I said when Manchester United were signing Haaland, we should sign Harry Kane. So I have no idea what that idiot is saying. Huh?
I think what it is.
Come on the channel, if you want to come on the channel, say Saeed TV, and you can say what you want to say.
Don't get tricked by the comments, Brian.
I hate people who come and say, because you post that in the group chat, right, in the stream, and people will see it and they are saying, I'm saying that. I've never said that.
No. We haven't got
I've never said that.
There's some
more
more than others, but not all of them. Not all of them.
Just to quickly.
Go on.
Sorry. Just to round off my point. What I was saying is, let's listen to Amrin's words. And in his first few weeks, he would say, hey, I haven't had any training sessions with the players. When I have more training sessions with the players, the performances will improve. And I'm just going to hold him to his own words. All I'm saying is I'm not Amrin out now. I'm not. I promise. I really like the guy.
I feel like you are, though. I feel like you are.
No, not 100%. I genuinely like him. I didn't never like him.
You're not Amrin in from the start, then you kind of... I feel like for me, do you believe in his idea and his principles? Be honest.
No, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical.
Okay, so you're doubting. You're doubt, basically. You doubt.
Yeah, okay. I'm skeptical. But I honestly love him as the face of the club. I love the way he talks in press conferences most of the time, unless he's saying this is the worst Manchester United team in history. That's the only time I've criticized his press conference. But the other part is, in his own words, he said, we're going to improve the more training sessions I have with the players. And that's and I'm like, okay. So all I'm saying, and this is what I've been saying from day one.
It's a big week. It's a big week, this one.
Yeah, but
this one here will turn a lot of people. I think if we lose to Tottenham, I don't know, convincingly or not, I think it will kind of creep a lot of doubts into people.
That's fair.
It's a lot because you've had a week now. It's Tottenham. They're where we need to be. Even the next game against Everton, they're two crucial games where I feel like he's got to put in a performance rather than results, maybe. Like he's got to get people saying, you know what? We played well in that game. Well, maybe unlucky to win, to lose or get a draw, but we showed something in these next two games. Because we don't, I think we play, Arsenal, after that, or something like that, or Ipswich. But it gets even tougher and tougher. He's got to show signs of something now. I'm fully behind the manager.
That's fair.
Something.
That's fair side.
Developing. I think
I completely
the biggest difficulty is actually against the smaller teams. That's where he's actually.
Yeah. I know.
Because if you look at it, when we've played against the bigger teams, we went to Anfield. We played. I think we played well. We went to the Emirates, and I think we did decent enough to win that game. The bigger and against Tottenham, even though it was a chaotic match, I think we did really well. Even though we got knocked out in the cup, so in the big games, we've actually looked more organized, more ready to take advantage of other teams and all that stuff. In the smaller games, when we have control, when we're trying to break a team down or all that stuff, that is a lot more difficult. That's when you're coaching patterns of play, you're getting your team in the right positions, all that stuff is a little bit more difficult to get that going. If he gets that going, I think people are only seeing the negative side, but at least see the flip side. We're doing good in big games for the most part. If he gets it going against smaller teams, why wouldn't it be a situation where he is something that is sustainable? We're trying to create something that's sustainable. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to do so. The smaller games, for me, the problem is balance. You see against Leicester City, everybody's going crazy about Leicester City. What was the problem? Why did we struggle against them? I think we talked about it after the game. Our build-up was poor. Our build-up was just, we weren't progressing the ball really well, and people were cautious on the ball. Is that a manager's instruction? I doubt it. We didn't progress the ball well. That's just number one. And he fixed it, kind of corrected itself in the second half for the most part. But why did that first half happen? Look at the three center backs that played. Why weren't they pushing the ball forward? Why weren't they carrying the ball forward? I know for a fact Amorim is not instructing them to play this way. It's one thing if he's instructing them to play this way, that's one thing. But they're not progressing the ball. Is it because we don't have the players? I mean, we look at the center backs we had. I can't even fully remember. I know Euro played. Maguire also started, and right center back or left center back. What was his name? Mazraoui. So the ball progression hasn't been great. We lost Martinez, which he helped our ball progression quite a bit. I've not been his biggest fan when it comes to defending, but the ball progression sucked. So he has to find that balance. For me, Dalot cannot play on the wing backs. He just can't.
No,
you have to choose between him.
You know what? I watched the game.
Mazraoui.
I watched the game back with my brother afterward because I didn't watch it live, and I watched it like pause, like when you analyze the game and you go back and you watch carefully, and the positioning is wrong, and you can see the players are not understanding it. Like you can see that sometimes Bruno and, for example, Ugarte understands, but sometimes it doesn't match. Like they are too high and there's a big gap, or they are too deep and there's another gap in behind. Or you can see that Dalot, for example. There are many instances where Dalot should just move up, and it's my brother that noticed that. He just should just move up because there's a pass there, but he's a fullback, Dalot, and he doesn't get that natural instinct of going there. And you can see that it stops, it breaks the game all the time. And then the pass, the first instinct, the first reflex he has is to put it backward because he can't, on the left side specifically, he can't orient his body forward. Like
why doesn't the manager see that? Why doesn't the manager see that?
Exactly. That's why I criticize the manager.
He's seen it. So you guys you need to remember, who did we sign in January window to contract? We signed one with Dogu.
If he plays Dogu right wing back against Tottenham, are you going to be concerned?
You know what, Saeed? You know what Scholes said yesterday? He said that his idea to play Dogu right wing back tells me that his brain's fried. He's overthinking things. His brain's fried at the moment, and I think that's a fair point. I think he's
really not.
He's under a lot of pressure, and he's not thinking straight.
He's really not though, because Dogu has played right wing back, has played right winger, and he's
on
also played.
I forgot about Weisskell. I really did.
Again, he was joking, but again, Quenda is the same profile of player, if not a little bit better in terms of dribbling both ways. Quenda's plays right wing back. He plays left wing back as well. Again, people are going OTT with this. I've seen other managers do this where they're setting fullbacks who can play both sides. It happens. Why didn't it work? That's the bigger question. Because if he played there and it worked, people wouldn't be saying all of this that they're saying right now. Again, how can we make the system work? I think it would be easier, especially when we're playing teams that are sitting back, to play Dogu left wing back, right? Because then he can stretch the play. Maybe against teams that attack us, it might make more sense for Dogu to play right wing. Like, you'd never know, because again, people were calling out for Ahmad. I was one of them that was calling out for Ahmad to play 10. He hasn't been as effective in the 10. He's more effective in the wing back position.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
but also the part that since no one is playing well instead of Ahmad at right wing back, the ball doesn't get there.
Yeah.
There are two things. Like, I think Ahmad is playing well at right wing back, but I don't think he's playing worse in the 10 because he doesn't play the position well. The ball doesn't get there, just like the strikers don't play well as well, because we just.
That's so
but why doesn't the ball get there though?
Because the organization.
About this, the progression of the ball is shocking, and then
it's the progression
the positioning
of the ball. It's the players is the players, the centre backs. That's why Martinez is important. And then it's the centre mids as well. Then hardly any of those players progress the ball quick enough. So by the time they try and even progress it to the 10s, the other team's already set back, and the smaller teams tend to do it better because they'll sit deeper. But if you play in Arsenal, even at Old Trafford or Man City, they'll probably try and play with a higher line because they want to play on the front foot. Therefore, the players in the 10 will probably see the ball a bit more. So the problem is that it makes the 10s look like they're not involved, which is why Ahmad wants to go on the wing to collect the ball. And when Ahmad goes on the wing, like we said, Garnacho goes on the wing, we end up not actually playing Amorim's way. And then we're like, oh, yeah, we won the game. But then that's not how Amorim wants to play. So Amorim comes after the game and starts saying, I'm not happy with the performance, but we won. But you could tell by body language, he's not happy because he doesn't want to play like that. And like you said, I don't know if it's just Man United or I don't know if it's United, Dallo. You were talking about Dallo, and I feel like a lot of our players have low IQ.
Yes.
Connection, man.
Yeah. Low IQ.
You good money now. You good money, and you spitting. Thank you so much. I got somebody spitting. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying Dallo. You was mentioning Dallo. I feel like United have a lot of low IQ players, like very, very low IQ players. Because I understand you're not a wing back, but surely after a few, because these guys nowadays, they've got everything. They've got screens, they've got analysts that come and sit down in the room and tell them, this is what I want you to do when he has the ball. You do this. And I get it. It does take time. That's why people say preseason is important. And it is important for that reason. But some of our players, they take so long to adapt. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know what it is. Because when I see other clubs, I see new manager, they'll change one or two things. And all of a sudden, the players can play, or at least they're half decent. We look terrible trying to do a new formation or a new system. And it's not just like one or two players. It's 3, 4, 5 players in the system. And like you said, you talk about Bruno, Ugarte, and pressing. Why have we been bad at pressing under like 4 different managers for 5 years? Like, bro, it doesn't make any sense.
We couldn't press with Ragnick, and the man basically invented running. So that's just all you need to know about this.
Yeah. Ragnick's I think his first game was against Crystal Palace. I think we won. We played 4-4-2. How hard is it to understand pressing?
4-3-3. Yeah.
4-2-2, but you know what I mean? Like 4-4-2 when you're defending. Obviously, when you defend, it's 4-4-2. So when you're pressing, it's not that hard to do. You know what I mean?
We don't have enough athletes in the squad. I think one of the big issues is we don't have enough athletes. And you see, Ahmad is an amazing presser, and it stands out so much when he presses versus everybody else. But we don't have. And
by the way, and before you continue,
sorry, go ahead.
Do you think that Diallo is an athlete?
I think he's physical enough.
Great stamina. He's not like super quick, but his stamina is amazing. He's got great stamina.
He has decent power. I think he's an athlete.
And he's strong.
He's an athlete, yeah.
But when you're talking about athletic players, Diallo wouldn't come up.
No, I think in terms of athlete, what I mean about athlete, for example, let's use there's 2 prime examples. You have a perfect example, Amad Diallo, small in size, but then in terms on mobility, flexibility, pace on ball, technique, skill, physical for his size, it's good. Now, then you got athletes like Amadou Onana. That's an athlete, right?
Yeah,
that's an athlete. Yeah. Ball, stature, holds the middle. That's an athlete. Then you got Dorgu. Dorgu's not he what? How tall is Dorgu? 6'2", I heard.
He's 6'2". He's an athlete. He's an athlete, bro.
He's so tall.
Yeah,
that's an athlete. So to me, there's different levels of athletic builds in terms of you don't got to be. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
like,
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that you wouldn't class Ahmad as an athlete, but you would say he's athletic or has athletic abilities. Do you see what I'm saying? Like he has power.
Because Elanga was an athlete. Elanga was an athlete, and they're
similar. Yeah, Elanga's an athlete. Yeah, I would say that.
I think they're neck for neck. Elanga might be just.
You don't need to be an athlete. You don't need to be an athlete to be physical. Like for example, Casemiro's.
But this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to Andrew's point. I was just saying because he's the best presser, but you wouldn't necessarily say he's a big athlete and he's physical and he's fast, like one of the fastest players.
Some of it's mentality. Is that what you're saying? Some of it's just in the head and mentality.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I think you're right. And the other issue is if you look at when we pressing is a team thing, yeah? It's like the whole 11 has to be team. And if you look at our defenders, they're always trying to run back to their own goal instead of pushing up, being aggressive and taking a little bit of risk. They're always like really scared some ball's going to go over the top, whether it's Maguire or whatever, and then they just give up. And the other thing, just to be fair on Amorim, is, and this is the point that you were making, I think, is we've moved away. You know, under Ten Hag, we were a transition team. Try to win the ball back and then get the ball.
He's trying to change that.
He's moving to a possession team. That's the hardest thing to do in football. Like, it's a change of mindset. You have to learn the game differently.
You just answered the question you asked me earlier.
About what we're improving?
Yeah.
No, and that's what Saeed said. Saeed mentioned that one of the things we're improving is that we're conceding less shots. And why are we conceding less shots? Is we keep the ball better than we did under. But even though it goes nowhere.
So you do see
yeah, no, I said that I credited Saeed. I said that was a good point. You did that. You made a good point. So I get it. Moving from a transition team to a possession team is the hardest thing in football. You have to learn the game. You have to be smarter and all those other things. So I get that, and that's me trying to be 100% fair on Amorim.
Yeah, and especially without the tools that he has. I'm just gonna get rid of super chats here. Wilson says, I hope we have a buyback on Olango. Him as right wing back will cook. Just Waffley says formation slash style of play is less important. Just find a way to play the best players in their best position consistently. That's where Amorim struggles. And MDR summarizes, if you're trying to change slash develop a system, you have to put in 10,000 hours to achieve mastery or revert back to old habits. Any new skills take time to develop. Let the manager cook. God bless. The thing is, right, listen, it's difficult to teach these a lot, yeah, but then it's kind of teaching the basics well and then being consistent upon that. You know, I mean, we can't even win 2 games on a bounce, man. Like, what happens when, like, for me, it's like either we don't deserve to win against Southampton, but then we find ourselves short against what's the team called? Brighton. We lost to Brighton. We then probably did deserve to win against Fulham, but then it's like all the problems lay bare against Crystal Palace. Like, it's difficult, man. That's why sometimes when we win, I'm like relieved rather than trying to dissect the kind of game and if we played well or not to say we won. But then when we lose, I have to dissect it in totality because it's like it's just more open and it's like it's in your face. So it's difficult, man. It really, really is, man. And it's finding the balance.
You know what I noticed as well with Amorim? It looks to me like he analyzes like the big picture quite well. Like he's like his comments from when he arrived. We lose the ball too quickly. We don't keep possession enough. We are not composed enough on the ball. But so like the large picture analysis is decent, or at least good. But the small picture and the small profiling of the players and the attribute, that is lacking. Like he can see the problems at large, but he can't see like the root cause of the problem. Or at least it's taking too much time to identify why certain players, like for example, Maguire, you can't progress quickly with Maguire at the back. This is something we've known for years.
No.
Because even though he is decent on the ball, like at least the touch or whatever, his decision-making is slow. He allows pressure to come in too much before releasing the ball. So you have someone like, for example, Matthias De Ligt, who maybe not as
Has he played Matthias De Ligt last 2 games now?
I'm sorry?
Let me just check quickly now. Like, De Ligt didn't play against...
Is he injured? I thought he was carrying something.
He was on the bench. He was on the bench. And Palace was a Premier League game. And we are 14 for 13. So that matters. So don't tell me he was resting.
Yeah, he's not played last 3 games. I don't think he's played.
Since in terms of ball progression, I don't think you're splitting hairs against.
When De Ligt started, everybody came for his head and was like, "Oh, he's shit. Get him off the pitch." Now that De Ligt's off the pitch, Maguire's shit. Get him off the pitch. We need to.
You know what? I believe the people that were saying De Ligt to get him off.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
I said, but they were wrong. They were wrong. I think De Ligt is a good defender, and we play. And at the end of the day, I look at the individual performance, but I look at the global performance. If you tell me Maguire plays well and De Ligt is not as good as Maguire, which I think is not true, but the team plays better with one, I'll go with the one that makes the team better. and that is delete every time. So
Yeah.
Dalot can progress.
I
the
would
ball
play
well.
delete. I would play delete over Maguire, but
Any day of the week. That's the
we
easiest choice.
don't have our best ball progressor by far in our centre back is
Yeah,
Martinez.
Lisandro.
Everyone
Martinez
else
and
is like is a step. Is a step.
By the way,
below.
what do you think of the comments today?
I
By the
think you
way,
need to highlight. I think you need to highlight Quicksilver's comment right there. High key.
which one?
Quicksilver. I think that.
Oh yeah. Imagine winning 6 games out of 8, not having the players he won in the middle of the season, and still being criticizing everyone. A Man United fan doesn't want a coach; it wants a superhero.
It really, bro, this ends this topic. This really ends this topic.
I did say this: we've won 6 out of 8, but we still don't feel satisfied. But then you also have to understand that.
But Saeed is 6 out of 8 in all competitions. Probably that's why. Because if you do it in the,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
And the games we have won, they've not been entirely great. If I'm being honest,
exactly. Like
We played against teams with an annual budget of like $200,000.
Yeah, but Saeed, I'd rather have
an
a
annual
man
budget
in
of like
job.
$200,000.
Guys, I'd rather have a man in job that after a win would come and tell you, yes, my team is not good, and yes, we're gonna get there, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna go through. It's a storm. From day one, he said, "Yo, the storm is coming." When we won the second game, he said, "Don't get too excited. The storm is coming."
Get too excited.
He,
Yeah.
He said the storm is coming.
Yeah,
I'd rather that than a man that was barely winning a game, even losing the game, and still come up and tell you, "Hey, we were the better team. I won 2 trophies, and we were still the better team." Because the
you know what it is.
Yeah?
Everyone wanted a new manager bounce. I was saying
That's
that
what
everyone
it
wanted
is.
a new manager bounce. So that's
Yeah,
why
we don't get those. We don't get those.
We wanted a sugar high.
That's what I'm saying.
We wanted a sugar high.
Everyone's having a lot of pain because we're so used to having that now it's like things just gone from bad to worse, and it's like, damn, like we didn't really want this. What's the point of a new manager? So now those are the people that are saying Amorim out. You see what I'm saying? But if Amorim won 10 games, everyone will be saying, yeah, Amorim, we can't wait till preseason. It's that bounce that people thought it was gonna get better, and it hasn't. And that's where the disappointment lies with a lot of the fans. You know what I'm saying? But obviously with Amorim, it's the performance now that we're looking at, not the results. We need performances. You see what I'm saying? The results here, like we get it.
And I think I agree with.
It's not even that.
Bound to slowly start coming in. I'm telling you.
It's not even that. You know what? Because I can deal with suffering at the moment because the team is in a bad place. The squad is not good enough. The manager has a terrible, difficult job. I just want the logical decisions. Like I can't do with signing a left wing back and having Dalot and then you play him on the right. Like because the point of that is not that Dogu can play on the right. He can play on the right. We have Dalot on the left. Like this is the issue here. Like Vinicius can play on the right, but you play him on the left because that's his best position.
Adam, and I did say that earlier. I just said I know the fan base is probably going to crash out on. That's the only reason why we could be sitting here crash out. That and the one game against Palace where he decided to play Kobe Mainu in the 9. That's the only 2 mistakes, according to shout out my brother Footballer Soccer. Shout out my brother. But according to him, but he's doing mistakes. That's the only 2 mistakes so far in a tactical decision where I could sit here and agree with the open public. Yeah, that was terrible decisions. Why are we playing Kobe in the 9 when he was doing very good in the 10? He was doing very good in the 10. Why are we playing in the 9?
You know what, Omar? It's not even that. I don't think it's only those 2. I think not playing Kobe in the 10 earlier can be held against him. I think switching the centre backs too often can be held against him. Thinking that Maguire is
to be fair, Adam, playing Kobe in the 10 is he's played multiple positions in midfield, in our midfield, and even in the youth systems. He's played as a 6 and whatnot. If you have this player that people are saying is $100 million player, right? That's whatever price you want to put on Kobe Mainu.
What the Ten Hag played?
So you want to play him in the 6, right? It shouldn't be like it. I don't think it's a good thing, by the way, that Kobe Mainu cannot play in the 6 for us. It's not a good thing that you produce a player from your academy that's played all these positions, and physically, the reason why he can't even play in that position is because physically he's not good enough.
Physically,
that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I think he's a very talented player, but because of his physical shortcomings, we can only play him in a certain role. That's not a good thing.
You know what?
But that's not an academy issue. That's just God given. He hasn't been given.
It is an academy issue because Manchester United should emphasize bringing through players who are physically good enough to play in the first team. That's what Manchester City were doing for the last 10 years. Look at all the ball carriers that they've produced that are playing all over the Premier League now. So it is a bad thing. At the end of the day, I think playing him further up will be good for him. I don't even think it's his best role. If I'm being
I don't
totally
think
honest
so.
with you.
But
I don't
but it's
people
not a
say play him in the
issue.
10 because that's why he can maybe do more there. But if you think about it long term, will I play Kobe Menu in the 10 ahead of
No,
Kobe?
this is short term.
No,
No,
but
no,
it's a problem. But it's
you know
a
what,
problem
Brian,
because
anything else.
Right, because you know what? I think I think Kobe is very talented, but I think if you play him in the 10, I don't think he's special. And I think you lose a lot of what Kobe can do. So that's why I'm not a big fan of Kobe in the 10 in the first place. It's just that in this scenario, you can't play Bruno in the 10. And you can't play Garnacho in the 10 that often. It's just my point is,
And that has an impact. Because
yeah,
when he
it-
starts, he gets found out.
you know,
my thing is,
but the
it took him
crazy
too
thing-
long to try him. You know what? It took him too long to try him. That's my main issue. Like, and another thing, I don't think
Yes,
it's even,
thank you.
I don't think it's even physical with Kobe. I think his reading of the game is poor. Like physical players play that position better than him that are less physical than him.
No, but have you not realized with Kobe physically is like since he first, because when you look at the Everton game and you look at Kobe now and you see how nimble and how Kobe was moving up and down the pitch and how he was tackling, you know, the goal line clearance, and like we saw a player who was very athletic and very light, very nimble and strong. But now when you see Kobe run, it's almost as if running is a chore for him. Like when you look at him move, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it's his body, if he's got an injury, because he's really young. So I don't want to criticize or say anything. Kobe,
it's not just
I don't think
it's not just him. It's not just him. This is a big problem with physical conditioning that we've had for a very long time.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on in the club. We sign a player. People can listen. I don't think Rasmus Højlund is great, but what happened to all his pace? All his pace is gone, like completely gone. Like he doesn't look like as if he can sprint. When Zexi came in, he looked really, really, really heavy. Like there's so many players that we've signed. I don't know what's happened to them physically. We've wrecked them. Sancho is another one that we've signed, and physically, I don't know what happened to him. So many players that we signed physically, I don't know. Martinez is another one that we signed. Again, I don't know if it's injury. Yeah. He was so agile, was so nimble. I really don't. There's so many players that we've signed like that.
Right. He's right.
They physically, something happens in a year. They get slower. They get heavier. So again, these are the things that I look at, right? And you want your players like when they're coming through the academy to maintain certain traits that makes them really, really good. I get Kobe is 19, but it is not a good thing when your manager is saying you're struggling with the defensive aspect of the game. So I'm going to play you further up. That's not a good thing.
No, that's not a good.
He's 19. He should
be
getting
he's also trying to get
not weaker.
But he's also trying to maximize the best of his squad and maximize the best of Kobe. Kobe's better in tight spaces, not covering. That's why he's not playing Casemiro. Why do you think Casemiro's not playing? Because he can't cover long distances. Kobe can't cover long distances. So rather play him.
But Saeed at 19, that's strange though. Like you can't cover the box.
No, it's not strange. It's not strange. It's not strange.
You know what as well?
There are plenty of 19-year-olds that they can't cover the spaces that you think they
okay, name them.
I'm not saying you can name them, but there are out there.
That's what I'm saying. Center midfielders at 19, you can't cover like, and it's not. Let's be honest. I'm not saying you can't cover it because that could be his style, but I'm saying he looks very, very heavy doing it. It's like he's out of breath. He can't even. It's like a player that's not even fast. Said I've seen players who are not fast run away from Kobe and gap him. Like I'm thinking centre backs will just run past him and run, and Kobe's chasing back. I'm thinking. I'm not understanding. Like Brian said, there must be something happening. It's not even about being quick because you don't have to be quick to be able to chase back. It's like he looked extra slow and tired doing it. Like he looks out of breath, tired.
I think he's reading.
We got to remember he's 19. At that age, like if we think about why most 19-year-olds can't play Premier League football, it's because they can't meet the physical demands of playing Premier League football.
What do you mean by most 19-year-olds? I don't understand.
Look at Lavia.
If you think about why don't 19-year-olds? Why aren't there more 19-year-old midfielders in the Premier League? It's because they can't meet the physical demands of, at 19, a lot of them are playing underage football. They're playing reserve football. It's because they can't meet the physical demand. He's one of the few 19-year-olds that's playing.
By the way, also we got to remember he had a whole season at United. He went to the Euros. He then got injured. So we have to put that into context
That's a
as well.
lot,
like,
man, for a 19-year-old. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's what I'm thinking, Saeed. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm answering again. I'm kind of answering Adam's question about playing him in the 10 and playing him in a different position. Why it took a while, I guess, for the manager to do that. My point being is that there are other underlying issues why he didn't do that immediately. He needs to figure out the best role for the player. He needs to figure out the best use of his assets. Because I don't even think his best position is in the 10. I think he can play there, but long term, it's not going to be. So I'm concerned with Kobe Mainoo long term.
Yeah,
Because
I am.
my opinion, if we go sign a 6, which we should sign 2 really. We should sign 2 central midfielders, and we go sign 2 number 10s. Where is Kobe going to play? Again, this is why I said for him, demanding a new contract at this point in time for him is probably not the best idea because I'm not so sure you have a set place in this team, if I'm being honest with you. Because I like other profiles who can play in those 2 10s, who can play in those 2 6s. Would he be happy to be a bench option after becoming an England international? I'm not so sure.
I agree, Brian. You know what, Saeed? Like many months ago, I said I prefer Kobe in the midfield, deeper in midfield, as compared to higher up the pitch. But in this setup, it doesn't appear to be working because if you consider Kobe a creative attacking player, if you compare him to the other 19-year-old or the other players fighting for that position in the world, he's not special anymore. What made Kobe special was his maturity to play in the middle of the park at that age. But being because if you play him in the 10 or higher up the pitch, you start comparing him to Musiala and those players, and he's nowhere near that level. I hear Brian, and I agree. My criticism was more aimed at Amorim because he needed to get some results. And another thing, Bruno in the 10, Garnacho in the 10, Rashford. It took him a long while. But to be fair, I am on board with Brian with this one because I don't think Kobe in the 10 is special at all. If anything, there are many players we should buy instead of him.
Yeah, but I'm going to discuss that next. Big up to Suleiman Shah says, guys, not going to lie, but is it really so bad? Amorim came in, we were 13th. I was still 13th. I still in 2 cups. If it's that worse, I don't really mind. You know what? Listen, if we finish here, let's say, for example, 11th or 10th here, but we win a cup, is that something that you guys are going to be happy with? Are you guys going to see that as something to build on for next season? Or are you guys looking at the Premier League and be like, yo, man, my bread and butter is the Premier League. How I view success in the Premier League is what? And the manager said that before, we've seen the FA Cup be, something that we use well.
Just
but it shouldn't
to
be.
rescue the season.
Yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say, bro?
Yeah, I agree. Listen, if we win a cup, fantastic. But I'm tired of being shit in the Premier League. I'm sorry. I'm tired of being shit in the Premier League. So for me, I want to see better performances. But I want to know that, again, Amorim is going to stick to his principles and get at least 4, 5, 6 players in this team that can play those principles. That will give us a good foundation to go into next season. We sign 5, 6 players. And, maybe we have a team. People think I'm just going to defend Amorim no matter what. People, then you don't know me very well. If I see something and I think tactically he's failing, because again, it happened in the second season with Ten Hag, and I was like, listen, why is he playing this way? And I called him out. If Amorim gets his players, if he doesn't profile them correctly, if he doesn't go get the players that he needs to get, which is for me, Cunha right now is a layup. He has a release clause. This is the simplest deal we have to do.
Apparently he's looking for a 10 and a striker. So I don't know if you see today, Jokeris was on the bench today. And then obviously Cunha's got a 62 million release clause. What are you man saying? Striker and
just
10.
Pay it, man. Pay it. We need him because we're not going to get Morgan Rogers.
Have we got money? Do you reckon there's going to be funds available?
We're paying. It looks like we're paying 50 million for Quenda. If you're paying that amount of money for a 17-year-old, then you have money to go get the top striker. I don't want to hear the excuses.
We're sending another 100 staff, Saeed. So another 100 are going.
I know. Banda, what do you think about that as well, man? 100 staff being laid off by Jim Ratcliffe today. Apparently the rugby team. I don't know if you heard about the New Zealand rugby team as well. Yeah. Do you think there's a method to all of this from Ineos? Like, do you think this is right? Like, because obviously we can all say
he's running it like he's running it like his business side.
Time will tell.
So when he bought, what he used to do, this is how he made his billions. He used to buy underperforming businesses from like Shell or BP. And then what he would do is he would make them really cost efficient. So businesses that weren't making money for Shell or BP, he'd buy it off them for a really cheap price, like 100 million, 200 million, and then turn it into a multi-billion-dollar business. That's how he's running Manchester United. He's buying it. He's going, you guys are making a loss. I'm going to cut all the staff, cut all the costs, and then turn it into a profit-making machine so we can spend it on play. He's not. People think he's taking money out for himself. He's not like that's not happening. People think he's trying to profit. Like if he's got $20 billion, he doesn't need to profit at Manchester United, but he thinks that it's not running efficiently enough, and it needs to cut the stuff.
He's taking legal action. New Zealand taking legal action against Ineos. They accused them of breaching their sponsorship deal. Ineos agreed to a 6-year deal to become their official performance partner until 2027, but have failed to pay the first installment.
I mean, didn't we have a sponsor, Manchester United, that didn't want shirt sponsor for us anymore? Like, it sounds bad, but it's one of those news stories that I'm like,
we can't push aside though, man. We can't
was that Team Viewer? That was Team Viewer.
Yeah. Like, so for me, it's like I don't.
But they had a break. We had a breakout clause. They had a breakout clause.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, it's fine.
But this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot, man. The first installment is 3.5 million. I'm
sorry, but it's a lot for people who want to crash out on Ineos, so they have something they want to feed on, which is fine. But it's not the case that they don't have money. They obviously have the money. They don't want to pay it. It's not like they don't want to pay. They don't want to do this questions.
Imagine someone owes you money, Brian, yeah, and then you go see them online, Instagram. Yo,
then we go to court. Hey? Go to court. Then you sort it out.
This will be decided in court. That's it. If the court say you have to pay, they'll pay, of course. If they say, hey, you can actually break out of this agreement, they'll break out of the agreement. It's just a legal thing. It's not a big deal.
Does this look good, though? Does this look good for United? Like, does it look good?
Who cares what looks good? It doesn't matter. Like, it's a business thing, Saeed. They have a contract. It's a business thing. If they can break out of the contract, they will. If they can't, they'll have to pay it. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
They sponsor something in Tottenham Stadium. I think the seats, we see it all the time.
Yeah, the seats. Yeah, the
seats. So this one sponsorship they don't want to do. It's whatever. Like I'm not a contract law expert. It would have been great to hear from Estrella on this, but ultimately it doesn't concern me. People keep saying Ineos are broke. It's not about Ineos having money or not. The issue is the club spent over $1 billion on building a useless squad, and Glazers
also, sorry to cut you off. There was a report from Adam Crafton from the Athletic today, said that Man United staff argued that botched Ineos decision making with regards to Eric Ten Hag and Dan Ashworth, as well as the questionable 200 million transfer spend on Delit, Joshua Zirkzee, Lenny Euro, Malogate, has left ordinary workers at risk of unemployment. So there's a lot of like ill feeling within the club.
Sense to me. I'm sorry.
Adam Crafton's a hater. Adam Crafton's a hater. He just does.
I'm sorry.
Stuff.
I'm sorry, but Ange, you run a business terribly. I'm sorry, but Saeed, the media are going to do whatever they want to do because Manchester United gives them clicks.
Yeah.
You run Manchester United into the ground for almost 15 years. Almost 15 years. And you think this last transfer window is why you're losing your job? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's exactly.
What are we talking about? We've blown so much money.
You look at
nobody wants to talk about the Anthony transfer for 90 million.
Exactly. That's looking for excuse after the fact. It's not. It's looking for explanation.
You know what's a crazy stat?
Because you know what?
Crazy stat. No. How much have we spent on interest repayments since the Glazers took over? Just not even paying off the interest. Just the interest repayments. Not even paying the loan off.
Over 300 million.
$800 million on interest repayments.
That's recorded.
So the loan amounts increased. So we still owe the loan, but we just the interest repayments. It's $800 million. That's a disaster. It's a disaster.
I get people want to criticize Ineos, and there's lots of things to criticize them on. But one thing I'm not going to lose sight on is who caused this issue in the first place, and it's the Glazers.
It's the Glazers.
If the Glazers if they just ran the club well in the first place, this would never happen.
Exactly, because you know what, Saeed?
But then you would argue that you're in bed with the Glazers, so it's your problem. You understood what you're going into. You understood the situation. You've not had a plan to clear the debt, there's a lot of things that you could say also, like, yo, listen, you're not taking accountability.
How do you know they don't have a plan to clear the debt?
Because
Well, they haven't mentioned that once, to be honest with you.
I think Ineos arrived, bro, and they just.
I'm not saying it's all Ineos' fault, by the way, Adam. I'm not. I'm just giving you other side of the argument.
It's a fair discussion. I just think people are so pissed off. It's easy to say Ineos because they're the ones that are publicly talking. The Glazers never talked to us. The Glazers never cared about putting anything in the media. The Glazers never cared about any kind of project to make Manchester United win the Premier League. But it's easy to crash out on the person that's trying to clean up. Yeah, they're trying to clean up a glass that broke, and they might be making mistakes. But who broke the glass in the first place?
Completely agree. I think that's the most correct thing you said. That's right, 100%.
And you know what, Brian, as well, another thing is blaming ownership is easy. Because you can never be proven wrong, and you can never look bad. Like it's very easy, because if you can criticize a player, you can be proven wrong or right, and you can look bad. Like try criticize an academy player, and you have half of Twitter on your case immediately. But if you criticize ownership, no one is going to defend ownership. So that's an easy way to be standing on the good side of with saints and angels and everything. The thing is, I think Ineos walked into a club that has been corrupt by like both incompetence and people in positions of power that were just giving out jobs and favors to families, and people who were loyal to them. And that is an uncomfortable conversation for Man United fans. But I think Sir Alex Ferguson has a lot to do with this, because he was running the club like it was his. And no one takes anything away from Sir Alex. But I think it's not a coincidence to me that's the first name that got chopped out, like the contract with Sir Alex. Because you know how many people are loyal to Sir Alex? How many people got jobs because of him? And how many money can be wasted just by look? Do you remember Ragnick when they asked him what Darren Fletcher was doing? He said, "I don't know, but it's nice to have him around."
That's a great point. That's an excellent point, because Fergie loved Fletcher. You know what Rio says? He treats him like his son. They're both Scottish. Both Scottish. So treat him. That's a great point.
I'm not saying
how about Phil Jones? We kept at the club for what reason? We just left him there.
Like I'm not saying
he got a new contract because of Fergie. Phil Jones.
Like I'm not saying it's only Sir Alex. What I'm trying to say is there are probably many other people in there, the Woodwards, the this, the that.
I get it. They were enabling. That
did the same thing. They just gave jobs. Yeah. So,
but you know what it is? I just think for me, it's going to be a tough summer. I think people need to understand that there's not going to be a cash flow that everyone expects, especially without European football. I think you're thinking in the Europa League, you get 50 million a year. I think Champions League, you get, is it 100 million a year? I'm not sure.
How much do you think we spend in the summer, Saeed? How much do you think we spend in the summer?
I swear down, I'm going to guess around 150, maybe 150, 100. Yeah. And I don't think that's enough. And I don't think that's enough. You know what I mean? So, and if they're saying striker, Gyökeres.
No, Saeed, let's talk about the 150 plus the players they're gonna sell. Because one thing I got it. So this is what I see what Ineos is doing. Ineos is focusing first on the club level, on the performance level, on the business level. That's going to bring you money. They're not going to focus on that. That's what I'm personally seeing. Okay, let's get this club to actually play footy. Let this club to be a successful project, and then we talk money. So we could see the business we did this summer, and we cannot lie. We did good business. Does it look like we did good business now with the players we signed? No, but we all sat here and we were all excited for the players we signed. People in the chat and people outside the chat. So you got what I'm saying? So let's be real. We did good business, and we cannot keep going back and be like, "Well, shit, we did good business." Yeah. So this summer, you're going to see a lot of
the summer we had is the reason why we're not going to get relegated. If I'm being honest with you,
I think all of the signings worked out well. You could argue against Zerski, and fair enough. But overall, I don't think it's that much of a miss. Like I think it was a good window. I think Euro, I'm happy with it. Marti, Delict, Mazraoui.
He's looked shaky, hasn't he? Euro's looked shaky to me, man. Are we convinced he's going to be a star?
He's 18.
Are we convinced he's going to be a star?
I like the look of him. He looks like he's
18. He's 18.
I think. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, what were you saying?
I think from what I saw from Euro, I think his thinking is very, very quick. I think he's good on the ball, releases the ball quickly. He's 18 as well. He played in the back four, now he's playing in the back three. And I don't want him to start every game. I want him to become a good player. So I don't want him to start now. I just want him to get games here and there and slowly get in. And another thing, center half is a position that you get later on to be a good player. Like it's hard to be a young center half. Usually, it's very rare that you see like top centre half in their early 20s, and he's not even in his 20s yet. So I like the look of your account.
No,
this summer is huge. This summer is huge, right? And Ineos, if the quickest way to get the fan base off your back is going out there and sign players that will get them excited. This is why, for me, going to go get Gyökeres, going to go get Cunha is important. Because I can't remember the last time we signed an attacking player that I was like, oh my God, this is I think Di Maria might be the last one. That was like, oh my God, this is a huge one. Because I know that was massive to get Di Maria at the time. So we need to go get that kind of player that will get the fan base excited. Because attacking football, listen, if you struggle at Manchester United, but you're playing attacking football as a coach, I think your fan base will give you time. So we need to give Amorim those dangerous players that can, they can turn games on their own. They can win games on their own. We don't have them right now. So it makes his job a lot more difficult because sometimes all these teams don't always play fantastic, but then they have a Mo Salah to do something. They have a Saka that does something. They have some Palmer that does something. We don't have that guy. We don't. So we need to go get them.
So you know what?
How players, Ahmad needs support, like that can think at his level. Like sometimes I feel like Ahmad's doing stuff and there's no one thinking at his level. Like he's trying to play a 1-2, he's trying to do, and everybody else is just. And the other thing is, we don't have enough movement in the team. Like what we do is we pass the ball and that player is stationary after he passes the ball. It's the most ridiculous, and that's on Amorim. I'm sorry, like that's that movement where. That's what creates chaos and makes the defenders panic when there's like 3-4 players coming at them from different angles. What we have is pass the ball and then hope their guy does something with it. And sometimes Ahmad's good enough to do something with it. But obviously the rest of the team isn't. And I think it stems from that. And I think a lot of the players are overthinking way too much. They all think, what does Amorim want me to do? I want to follow his instructions, as opposed to playing with some form of freedom. And you can tell there's shackles on them. And he's got all these instructions. I want you to do this and this. And I think they're overthinking a lot without playing in with any freedom, without any expression. And I reckon if he's going to change that for sure.
I think it's finding the right balance. Finding the right balance. I think.
I think this summer, like I said, the striker is a massive, position we need to fill in. I think the 10 role. I think even midfield as well. I think there's a lot to kind of look at as well in our team. There's a lot to kind of like fill, man. Yeah, I mean, and ultimately quality is lacking from this team. We can say what we could do better and whatnot, but brothers, we're just lacking a goal scorer as well, man. Like,
you know what, Saeed? Goal scorers, I agree with Brian and the exciting talent. But the one thing I want that we haven't had, I don't think there's one team that is successful that doesn't have a good controlling central midfield player. I want a proper midfield player. Look at all of the successful teams in the last, I don't know how many years, decades. You will have someone that gets the ball and moves it quickly, releases it. You have Busquets, you have Carrick, you have Scholes, you have Rodri, you have even Chelsea when they won the Champions League with Tuchel in 21. They had Jorginho. I'm talking about that type of player, not even quality, but someone that if you watch the game, it doesn't appear like they are doing much. But if you take them out of the team, everything falls apart. And those are the players I like. And we don't have those. Just look at the Real Madrid three-peat Champions League team. They had players like Cruz that are not flashy, that don't do much, but get it and keep it moving. And you can
How much does City miss Rodri? They miss that player, and the whole team is dysfunctional because of that.
Dysfunctional, exactly. Those players are important. Way more. And another thing why they are important is they are rare. Like you can't come across that quality of player all the time. So that's why they are expensive, and that's why you need to get one of them.
Arsenal signed, was it
Zubimendi?
Spanish player. Yeah, Zubimendi.
I don't think so. It's not confirmed. I think they really want him.
They have a pre-agreement? I thought they had a pre-agreement or something.
Arsenal never signed him.
I heard in January they're close to signing him for the summer, not for now. For the summer,
they might do, but I don't think it's official yet.
Yeah, look at the team, the Italian team that won the Euros. They had Jorginho, Verratti, and Locatelli. None of them are athletes or great runners or whatever, but just couldn't take the ball out of them. And that matters.
That's what Manu. I thought Manu was going to be like that, but obviously,
exactly. I thought that. And I'm so far.
His passing range is not as good playing that position. That doesn't help him as well.
He's not as great.
So I don't know. I think
in that position, No, you're right. He doesn't see a pass like 15 yard pass, but in that
when
point,
you say passing range, what do you mean?
So when you pick like Carrick used to do this thing. Obviously, he's good on the half turn. He's good at picking up the ball and receiving it from the center backs. But then he will play a ball right through the lines, or he'll be able to hit those diagonals.
Yeah,
I've not really seen Manu do that.
No,
I
he
don't know
doesn't
if
have
it's
that.
skill set,
No.
but I've never really seen him do that.
He doesn't have
No one's
that.
got
It's
a
hard
passing
to
range in the
develop.
team. Let's be honest. Who's got already a passing range?
Only Ericsson, really. Ericsson really is the only one.
Leave.
Bruno thinks he has. Bruno thinks he's got the best passing range.
Yeah, Bruno doesn't know. You know what the thing with Bruno? It's fascinating to me. He doesn't know what he's good at and doesn't know what he's poor at. So he just keeps doing everything all the time.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like it'll be funny watching Bruno. Like the first 15 minutes, you can tell he's focusing on trying to keep the ball and being really disciplined. And then 10 minutes later, he'll get frustrated and he starts spraying balls everywhere. He just loses.
Balls, yeah.
He just loses. Like he's an emotional player. That's what he is. He's an emotional player. Like he lets his emotions dictate how he plays. You know,
That's
how he plays.
It's like dominoes. It's like dominoes. When one falls, the rest falls. There's no coming back. It's gone.
So realistically, though, who can we get in central midfield? Because I completely hear you, Adam. We need a controller. There are not many of them out there.
Exactly. It's a tough position to scout.
There's very few. Tillemans just mentioned it. I really wanted Tillemans. I was going nuts.
Years ago.
He was available.
Tillemans, yeah. Kamara, man, that's my baller.
Bro.
You know, let me ask you a question here. Like when you look at like Klopp when he took over their squad and look what it was. You're looking at Pochettino when he took over his squad and look what it became. You know, Arteta, okay, cool. He's got his squad, but he's got to compete in that. Do you think we're not ready for that sort of like process in that kind of way where we get a manager to allow him to have his team and then kind of like build his squad to what it becomes like? Do you think this are we patient enough for that? Like, do you think that won't ever happen? Because I'm not saying we become a project like club or whatnot, but like you look at all the teams like now, for example, us here, we're lacking physicality, we're lacking athleticism. You know, you have to build that, you know, and you have to allow a manager to build that, you know. So if this season becomes a write-off in terms of Premier League, then people have to understand that a little bit, you know, without kind of saying, you know what, we don't accept bad losses. Do you know what I'm saying? Are we ready for that though? I don't think we are, man. Like that's the thing, though.
The way I see it, honestly, is that if you have a well-run club and there's no guarantee that we are one, a project doesn't depend on one manager. You can build a project with the same project with many managers. A well-run club will do that. Like if you get a manager, the building of the squad has started before he arrives, and he will continue after he leaves. In a well-run club, of course. Like I can't say this is our case, but this is why I don't. If we get good ownership, and so far it's very hard to judge. Like so far, it's actually not that great. If we have that, let's suppose, because only time will tell. I don't mind sacking a manager every 2 years. Like the best. Look at Bayern Munich and look at the clubs that are well run traditionally. A manager never stays over 3 years. Never ever. The ones that stay for longer are very, very successful ones, like Champions League and Ligas, and still they leave and they come back, but they don't stay for 8 years and plus.
Yeah, we like I said, we lost our identity with Sir Alex. Like
what saved Liverpool? If we think about what happened to Liverpool, what saved Liverpool from being mediocre for 30 years? They found a generational, once in a lifetime manager in Klopp, who changed the culture, the mindset, everything. Like, this is just a theory.
I think Amorim's got the capabilities of that, you know. I think I'm not saying he is that person, but he's the one that looks like he's identified the problems at United and is putting them out in the public.
I don't know. Yeah.
But remember though,
like he'll say things, you know what worries me, Saeed? He'll say things like, this is what he's been saying lately is, oh, I'm young. Why? What are you? You're almost 40. First of all, you're almost 40 years old. You're not young. Why do you keep referring? And you're a Manchester United manager.
He is young for a manager. Like, I think that's what he's saying.
No, but don't say that. Don't tell us you're young. Like if I hire you today and you're not performing as well, and you tell me, let me wait. Slow down. Let me conclude.
I just want to know if you're serious.
No,
yeah, he is
being serious.
He is being serious.
Yeah. So
do you watch the interviews or do you like just see the quotes?
No, I listen to the whole press conferences.
Was
Well, you know
again
what?
Let
a
me
lot of the
clear my
time.
point. So,
You know
No, I
what?
just want to say because a lot of the time he's sarcastic.
No,
You
but
know, Ange, to be
no,
fair, him talking of
it's not. So after he made the comment around this being the worst Manchester United team in history, he said it multiple times, but this was the one instance he said it that I remember. They asked him, okay, well, how do you feel about it 3-4 days later? He goes, look, I overreacted, blah, blah, blah. You know, maybe I shouldn't have gone into the dressing room and smashed the TV. Maybe I shouldn't have said this is the worst Manchester United team in history. He goes, look, guys, I'm young. And that's one of the things he said. And then he said it in a TNT interview as well. He said, you know, I'm young. You're first of all, you're almost 40 years old. And it's almost like you're looking for excuses when you say I'm young.
You know,
if I hire you for a job and I'm paying you millions of dollars, I do not want to don't use your age as an excuse why you fucked up.
No,
Don't use your age as an excuse why you fucked up.
you know what? To be fair,
I don't think he fucked up. Not to be fair,
He admitted he fucked up. He said it. Don't deny the truth, Brian. He admitted
I don't think because people are going to we're going crazy over his quotes. He was saying he's young guy is being emotional, that he has a hot head. It happens. Again, I've seen managers say all kinds of different things, right? That's one, to be honest, is not really that crazy. He said United were a poor team. We are a poor team, but he wants to get a reaction. He's not saying we're going to stay a poor team. He's not saying that he's going to fail here. He's saying he wants this team to play better football. So it's really, for me, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he was pissed off. He has every right to be pissed off. The performances from his players is shambolic. Like, it's terrible.
To be fair to Ange, like, I don't have that big of a problem with the, you know what, him talking about his age. I'll be real, I agree with Ange. I don't want to hear too much, man. I don't want to hear too much.
Maybe he's overly honest. Maybe he's overly honest.
You're United manager. No, he's
an honest guy. He's an honest guy.
But I'm not trying to hear I'm young or I'm old or I'm tired or this or that. Like the rest, like I have more of a problem with him saying he's young than him saying it's the worst team you've seen in our history. I think that I can understand that. Like, you want a reaction, and in the context, it's more understandable. But you're young, you're this, you're that. I'm not trying to hear it. I'll be real.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, it depends on what the fans want. What do you want? You wanted this guy? Well, some of us wanted this guy. I wanted this guy to come in. People are now saying he talks too much. He's being asked questions in interviews and he's answering. Honestly.
But also,
your job is not to be honest, Brian. Your job
takes a long time.
I don't care.
No, but football has changed. Though. Football has changed. I was just gonna
say it takes a long time to really change the culture of a club the size of Manchester United. You know what I'm saying? Like with all due respect to other clubs like Chelsea and Liverpool, like Manchester United is like a different ball game. Like a lot of managers have said that, you know. And I think he's trying to do that in the way he knows how, but I think he's realizing how big the job actually is upon arrival. Because I think out externally it always looks like, I can go in and sort this, I can do this, but he sees how difficult it is. And I think dealing with the media, he's also learning to deal with the media here in England. Like if you see over different countries, the media is not always the same. The journalists are not always the same.
But they asked him how many times about Rashford, but he's
tired.
He's not had an easy start, you know, man. Like Rashford leaving, doing like Anthony having to move on. Like, bro, he would have thought like, yo, man, I want to stay, because you got to remember Anthony has wanted to leave for a while, you know. Last summer, be alone, like so he's had to get.
Why do you think he doesn't like the criticism, and the attention? Is that why? Why do you think he's wanted to go? He just gave up on his United. For somebody, remember when he came in, he used to talk about, I grew up in the favelas, I grew up with no food, I had guns around me, and then a little bit of criticism, a little bit of attention, and he wants to give up already. I thought that was weird by Anthony, man.
Because listen, when you, at least what I would rate is when a player knows they're not good enough and they know they need to leave. I rate it.
He's just, I'm not good enough. I'm out.
Yeah, man. Don't do this thing where some players who say, let me just take my wage and stay here forever, even though I know I'm shit. Like he knows he's not good enough and he's bouncing. Like I respect it. Good for him.
You gotta be fair.
Just go play a career elsewhere.
We have the opposite. We have players that don't know their shit. That's terrible.
You know, like
Lindelof's been here for 10 years, man.
I'll give you an example. There are a lot of things. His comments today were interesting. he doesn't care. He's giving his all. Dude, you are a right back that plays for Manchester United, and the number of successful crosses I've seen you put in is in how many years is shambolic. Like you're supposed to be this guy, athletic guy that can go up and down the pitch, but in wing back position you can't. Suddenly you have a brain fart. You don't know how to do it. So for me, it's like a case of we have so many shit players.
Watching Dalot in the final third, Brian, is the funniest thing in the world. When he's around the box and he's trying to make a decision, it's the funniest thing in the world. Like, but let's play him in his correct position and see if he improves. But it's been a disaster for him.
He's decent at fullback. I think at fullback he's decent.
I think he's another one that I would let go because
he's got value. Like, I think he'd have
value. He has value.
But Brian, he wouldn't be the first to let go. Like if we had a list of players to let go, he'd be like the bottom of that list. That's the only.
If someone bid £50 million for him in the summer,
do you remember when they asked Ronaldo? Do you remember when they asked Ronaldo which players do you think are good professionals at United? Piers Morgan asked him this in that interview, and he said Casemiro, Dalot, because he loves Dalot, and Martinez. He only said three players.
By the way, just quickly,
let's be honest. We can't take away from him being a professional.
No, he's professional. I'm not against him being. No,
that's what everybody talks about. How hard he works.
He plays for the badge. Dalot on the right, it would be a whole different season, and we would have been out here stroking him like what we did last season. It's really simple as that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just a quick one here.
I know. Just get this on the right, that's the only issue. He could only play right. Yeah. But go ahead, Saeed. I'm sorry.
There's a topic I wanted to discuss before we wrap up here. Mayo says, surprise, surprise, players complaining, get out of my club. It ain't easy. Love for the love from Australia. Big up to Plug Scopes. Says, Amorim style requires proper athletes all over the pitch. And Joseph says, still at Stuttgart and Palacios at Leverkusen are the kind of midfielders I think will tick you guys boxes from midfield. Yeah, still as a good player, but he signed a new deal. So I don't know if we're going to get him. But what do you man think of this one? Paul Scholes, I think on the overlap said that even when Martinez is fit, he's not good enough to win the Premier League with. Lisandro responded, this Jinx guy is really hurting. You put him in Argentina and he wouldn't survive. That's crazy, you know. Paul Scholes, is one of the greatest midfielders ever. We've seen. Race the football game.
I think you meant you put him in Argentina as in like the country. Like you put him there and he's not surviving.
To be fair, listen.
What do you think? Is that a physical threat or is that a football threat?
No, that's not on the pitch. I'm sure that's on the pitch. Is that what
I think it's both. I think it's both knowing Martinez, if I'm being honest.
I know.
I think it's both.
The reason why I think he's talking about the Argentinian league is because it's a very rough league. So that's what
it's rough league, so it's physical as well. So it's both.
I'm gonna be honest with you though, bro.
Scholes had the dirtiest of tackles. Remember Scholes tackling in midfield? He used to be dirty, man.
I think I'm
tired. Say that again, Omar. You say Omar?
I think I'm sick and tired of the Hall of Famers. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think
you know what?
Speak, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. I
know. You hear me or no? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think I'm tired of the Hall of Famers. Like
we agree, bro.
Officially,
elaborate for me.
Like you know who actually be talking good ball, and out of all of them, I'm like, yo, I could actually see what he's saying. Owen Hargreaves. I don't know if you have
100%. Hargreaves.
He's the only one that's actually reasonable. You get what I'm saying? Roy Keane in the beginning, Roy Keane under Ten Hag, he was cooking. And then all of a sudden it's crash out.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? Roy Keane would be commenting a game of chess and he'd be saying, like, put a tackle in. This guy doesn't make sense to me.
Paul Scholes always got beef with somebody. But Paul Scholes does sometimes drop gems. Rio, I'm tired of. Him and you.
Rio, I am.
I was about to crash out.
Rio always contradicts himself. That's the problem with Rio.
I love Rio, but like Rio's giving me wacky vibes, bro. One minute he's a big fan of you when you sign and let me get you on Rio Presents. Next thing you're not about it. Come on, brother.
The only Manchester United legend.
Rio's a YouTuber now, man. He's a YouTuber now.
Rio's more about his emotion. So he changes like one week if the player, like you said, he plays bad, Rio's against it. Then he's on YouTube talking about how the player is good. It's like Rio changes every week, so you can't.
You know what he lost me on? You know what he lost me on? You know when Rashford Amron said about Rashford, about him, I'd rather play my reserve goalkeeper. And Rio came out and said, I'd be holding a press conference if I was Rashford. Did you guys remember that? A couple of weeks back?
I didn't
I was like, there's something, get out of here, man. As soon as he said that, I was like, I'm done.
Exactly. One of the most elegant centre-backs I've seen, but bro, I can't listen to him speak, man. It's terrible.
Bro,
Paul Scholes,
the best one that talks about United.
If you listen to Paul Scholes, you could never guess that's how he played football. The two things
there's a reason why he didn't speak when he played football.
Exactly.
There's a reason why he didn't do any kind of like, he wasn't really
management, yeah.
That's what Baggio
said. See what Baggio said, Mandem? Do you see what Baggio said? He goes, I think he said something about like, punditry is mad nowadays because some of them are not be able to kick up a football or something, do a few keepy-ups. You know what I mean? I think he said something along those lines. It was quite funny.
Well, these guys are legends. Listen, they're ballers and they produce some of the best we've ever seen in my life and might ever see, if I'm being honest. Hopefully not. But my favorite legend is David Beckham. He doesn't say a thing. He just loves Manchester United from afar and stays on his own lane. Exactly. Because guys, this comment,
but he's not a pundit though, really.
But he understands. That's what I mean. I don't need you guys to be pundits.
You like him because you don't hear from him. You don't. You like him because you don't hear.
I love it.
Love it.
This is what he said.
He hasn't ruined my image of him in his head.
I find it unpleasant to judge players on the pitch. That's why I don't do any TV punditry work. I see colleagues who couldn't complete 3 dribbles from them players on air. Boy, that's crazy. Yeah. But you know what it is for me? Scholes, what he said, he goes, I don't believe Lisandro is a title-winning centre-back. The thing is, for me, I get what he's trying to say, but I don't understand. We're not winning a title with or without Lisandro right now.
But you remember Pep, at the end of the final last year, what did he say about Lisandro Martinez? That's Pep talking. He said, like,
he's one of the best progressive passing defenders
in the world, bro. And that's Pep saying that in the best footballing team in the world. I get it. So he's right.
At the same time,
how is he? I don't see how he's right, but I understand Lisandro's kind of dropped off from when we first bought him. Like, it's not necessarily the same Lisandro Martinez. You get it? Like, something, maybe it's the injury, it will take him time. So I get it. But when he first came in, he shocked the whole Premier League, bro. Everyone was, bro, he was so good. Like, that first season, he was so good up until his injury. And now Pep coming out and saying that as well. Like, I don't understand why Scholes will come and just like attack. And the thing is, Scholes will attack him when he's injured as well. Like, that's not even a nice time.
He just did his ACL.
He just done his ACL.
Let's be real.
A lot of these players, they love and respect Scholes. Like, they know who Scholes is. He's one of the best midfielders of his generation. It hurts him. Yeah. I'm sure it hurt him, man, to hear that. That was the thing. Like, and I love listening to Scholes talk. I know you guys don't, but I love listening to talk about United. I just don't think it's right to be coming out and saying things like that because a lot of these players, it's going to hurt them and affect them. So I'm not sure if it's the right thing, but I can listen to him. I listened to the whole thing yesterday, and I was kind of agreeing with a lot of things he was saying, man.
Because he never says anything constructive, and it's always new players coming into the league. Like, he wouldn't say that about Maguire.
And he doesn't say it about English players. He doesn't say it about English players. He won't say it about Maguire.
He said he's
going to so long.
Exactly.
Did you see the clip? Did you see the clip the other week where he did the keep sell?
Yeah, no, he said he sold delete.
He sold the whole team.
Did you see what he said about Mano in the overlap?
No.
He goes, he's not athletic enough.
Yeah, he basically said that why they play Mano in the 10. We know for sure Mano would never play in a false 9, and he just doesn't see him playing in that role, innit? He's kind of like he doesn't see Mano playing that high and all that kind of stuff. That's what he was.
He was gassing him up last season, saying he was going to be like, he saw him as the top.
He's better than me at the same age.
He literally said, "This guy's gonna be better than me." Remember when he posted on his story?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can see like the way he treated Anthony. And you can dislike Anthony as a footballer all you want, but the way he reacted to Anthony, it's a disgrace.
It was so dismissive.
It's almost as if he tried to break him.
But Lisandro commenting here, that just tells you everything you need to know, man. They don't respect
he was hurt. No, he was hurt by it. That's why.
Listen,
I'm saying he's not helping. That's what he said.
Listen, I rate it because I'm the same way. If you crack out on me, I'm going to do the same thing back to you. I don't give a shit.
And you know
And people
what?
have been going. People have been going. Imagine you coming to a new club. I'm not saying Martinez is the best, but we signed him, and we pay him all this money. And to be fair, he's not one of the worst players on the team.
No, exactly.
I'm being honest with you. And then you're calling him short, you're calling him this. He's getting it from fans, he's getting it from legends, he's getting it from opposition players, he's getting it from players like Carragher and all these things. So it's not necessary because we're not competing, like Saeed said, we're not competing for the league.
Do you think the reply is necessary?
Yeah. Listen,
Right
because
now,
if you give it, Martinez, if you give it, you should be able to take it.
Exactly. And another thing as well, if Scholes had the reputation of being fair in his criticism, I would say, you know what, Martinez, let it slide. But Scholes is not fair in the way he criticizes player. So you know what? You need to hold it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's probably another question they're gonna ask Amorim in the press conference now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And going back to what Omar said about as for Rio.
He's become a big softie. Roy Keane's a big softie these days. Like, he's not as aggressive as he used to be, man.
No,
because that character's been played out. Like, he needs to reinvent himself as well a bit.
No, but he's also learning as a pundit. You got to be a bit more objective. You can't just be emotional every time, reacting. I'll do this, I'll do that. Like, you got to also.
Bro, the best commentator on BN Sports, bro. You got to watch BN Sports. I wish y'all understood Arabic. Abu Trika, the old Moroccan dudes. They be talking facts, bro. They be talking facts on there, bro.
You know what I do usually? I put it up.
Who's Abu Trika from Egypt?
Yeah, he be talking. And you know what he said? He said Amorim is the best coach right now in the game. And
he's a legend, bro. He's a legend.
Bro.
What I usually do, bro, is if it's I put the game on mute and I just log in to watch along with Saeed and chat with people. I'm not listening to anyone.
Oh, you don't listen to the comments?
Yeah. Like, it's true, though. I just think for me, it's just funny how now little things at United are just causing like massive dramas when guys, we could potentially be by the end of this weekend 16th. Guys.
Hey,
Saeed,
how many points above the relegation zone? How many points above?
I've been saying this all season. Forget the league. As long as you don't get relegated and we win Europa. Europa is the mission, bro.
I hear what you're saying. If we don't finish the season like playing good, performing good, it's not good for us.
It's gonna be next season's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and you know what? We need to start okay, if it's gonna treat this season as an experiment, we need to start seeing something at least before the end of the season, because I feel like
that's what I'm saying. Win the Europa, that's something.
The problem is the two objectives, one winning the Europa and the other one not getting relegated, are not two objectives that make sense together. You can't aim for the Europa League and aim not to be relegated.
No, but obviously, I'm let's be real. I'm trolling with the game relegated. We're not getting relegated. Let's keep it 1,000. And then another thing, we're not
harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah, but let's be clip that we're not.
If we miraculously win the Europa League, we get a chance.
If you win the Europa League and imagine you nick an FA Cup, it's a very successful season.
But the thing is, Omar, the thing is, if we don't build,
Europa, we undefeated. Europa, we undefeated. Get me Athletic Club. We just bye week, enough time to train in the back three. We good. We good up here.
The thing is, you know, the possession style that he's playing, it's more suited. The possession style is more suited to Europa League than it is the Premier League. Like, that does work more, whereas the Premier League is about how quickly you can make actions and so forth. But if we don't build any momentum between now and the end of the season, say we play the same way, I'm like 100% confident he won't be in a job next year. Tell me I'm wrong. If there's no improvement between now and the end of the season, he will not be in a job next year.
I think you're wrong there.
They're not going to keep him. Ratcliffe won't keep him, man. They're trigger happy. They're trigger happy. They'll sack him.
That's why I said
I don't think they're trigger happy because they kept Ten Hag. I don't think they're trigger happy.
Look at Nice. They've had like 6 managers in like 4 years.
Again, that's why I said what they do with Amorim will tell me a lot about Ineos.
But Ineos are not good. We can see that.
No, but we don't.
No, I think it's the right decision. If there's no improvement, if you can't improve a team in 8 months, then you shouldn't be in a job next year. I'm confident in saying that,
bro.
We'll see.
I'm serious.
I'm really interested to see what they do, because if they do sack him, then I think we're in trouble. as a club
Mm.
because it shows
Yeah, I
me
just got
then.
paid. Yeah, same.
No, it shows me then that I have, as a fan now, my standards need to be like, I can't be patient with you guys because you told me you guys have a process, you have a plan, right? You're building a house. I trust you, cool. But if you then tell me, sorry, that house we're building, you know what we did? We demolished it. Now we want to build a factory. Then I can't trust you. I can't trust you at all.
Yeah, it's big.
For me, if you sack him, that's when I'm going to be pissed. Like I'm going to lose all my trust.
Same.
But I
Same.
don't
To the
understand.
process.
I don't know if I can get
Speed
gas
to
about
the
the
end.
manager. I'll be
But
honest with you.
I'm confused about, like, I get it, like you have to get results, and I get what Angie's saying, like results do matter. We can't act like results don't matter.
No, not just performance. If we don't win another, but if there's improvement in our performance, like in build up or in keeping or in creating chance, if there's no improvement in any of those aspects of football,
And do you know what?
then you're not.
pressure
Wait.
that
Let me
puts-
finish, Brian. Brian, please,
Okay.
please. So that,
Go
that
ahead, go
means that you're not. This is not reality. If you think you can keep a manager who makes no improvements, is that you're just biased. You're not actually looking at the evidence and then making a smart decision. That's all I'm saying. And if they sack him and there's no improvement, I will back him 100%. You can't make a wrong decision and then keep doubling down on it because you made a decision 8 months ago. You've got to adapt.
I'm looking forward to the day we face someone that is 15th and below, and I'm not nervous. And this is the point.
Yeah.
The only time, let me tell people, the only time you're not going to be nervous, Adam, is when you know the quality of talent in your squad is far better than the other team.
Yeah,
That's just the reality.
The squad
That's
is.
just the reality.
I'm not happy with the squad.
You're like, even if we play fantastic, we say we go play Tottenham, we play fantastic. Are you going to tell me you're going to be confident for the next game?
No, 100%. Like, I don't know if you saw the lineup that was circulating, like Ole's first game with 2021 with Varane, Casemiro, Pogba, not Casemiro, Varane, Matic, Pogba, Sancho, Greenwood, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno. Like, look at the golf in quality, and that is a team we were very unhappy with.
It's crazy.
That's a team we were
I know.
unhappy with.
That's crazy.
Martial wasn't good enough for us at the time.
Martial was on the
That's
bench.
why I'm
Martial,
saying he would be
he's in goal scoring form.
Greenwood.
Apparently, Martial has not been injured in, I think,
But he's in a warmer country as well, and the league is different. So
man, it's the guy staying fit, guys, man. Bro, what's going on?
What do you think's happening?
What's
What's your theory, Saeed? What's your theory?
Bro, can we not do this again, please? Martial revisionism, bro.
No, talking about
I'm
injuries.
not saying Brazilian. I'm just saying, bro. How the hell is he staying fit?
He finished.
Jesse Lingard was injury
That's it,
free,
bro.
playing in China. No one even knew or wherever he was playing. So for me, it honestly doesn't
11
matter.
goals in 19 games.
But the thing is, by tradition, Manchester United have always been a club that has had forwards that score
hasn't
goals.
missed a single game this season. I've not missed a
bro.
single game.
Well done for him, man.
Guys.
Congratulations to him.
Bro, Mason Mount, like, bro, it's too much.
All right,
man.
by the way, our medical department is an issue, though. I can't lie. With the injuries that we've got over the years, is
It's an
absolutely
issue.
diabolical.
It's diabolical.
We're getting better under Amorim with injuries,
Footballer.
aren't we?
I don't want to jinx. I honestly do not want to jinx it, but it's getting better because Amorim is rotating. People might not like that he changes.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
squad
that
a
is
lot,
And he's not
getting
overtraining.
but
He's not
rotating.
overtraining.
But my
That's
thing, yeah, with the rotation, yeah, it's not like I don't like it, but I hate when we change your back. You know, when you keep changing your back line, I feel like that affects the team more than anywhere else. And for years now, our back line almost every single game, like if it's not one game, it's after 2 games, one player will change. Like it's frustrating. Like you can never have like a foundation because that's where you build your foundation. Look, once Arsenal built the foundation, you know, I'm not comparing us, but when they built the foundation of their back line being fit a couple of seasons ago until last season, you could see the difference in the team because now you have a platform to play off. You see what I'm saying? But with us, every game, like, okay, Maguire's out. Then you put in the link. Then 60 minutes, he comes off. Then you change 3 centre-backs. Now you have 3 centre. Like, I get the rotation, and he has to, but it affects the team.
The best defensive seasons we've had is Van Gaal and Ten Hag's first season, and he never both never changed the back line. Like Smalling and
Ten Hag never rotated.
What happened to
refused to rotate.
Martinez and Varane after that season? They completely broke down. Like
he broke down, but
Casemiro as well completely broke down because we never we used them like soap that season. Every single game they played.
but there's another thing as well. Casemiro stopped playing, and we started like trying to invent things in midfield. So all of a sudden, players were trying to pick positions they shouldn't. because Eriksen, Casemiro always played, and Varane and Martinez always played. So that stability there and responsible players in middle of the park makes it so much easier.
It helped us that season. It helped us a lot.
They helped us, but
I
killed
get it.
us.
I do. You do need to rotate, but we didn't have the qualities in the positions. That Casemiro's out, you could see the difference in his first season.
Yeah,
He wasn't
yeah.
playing. You know what I'm saying? We needed Casemiro to play. When he was not there, look at when he was getting those bans, like 3 games, 6 games,
Yeah.
and the difference in how United were playing when he wasn't there was too drastic. We didn't have the place to cover. And we don't have the quality to cover right now. So I do get it, but at the same time, it affects us. Like we can't act like it doesn't. So
yeah. Listen, we have to wait and see, man. Like I said, the professionalism, everything like that, we just have to keep on proving, man. But listen, people, we're gonna wrap up here, man. What show? We've just gone past 564 likes. Can we get to 600 likes before the end of the show? Yeah, that should be easy, man. So you lot, 1.3K still in the building. Get the likes up, people, man. It's been a wicked show. Late vibes. You know the score, man. It's 1 a.m. here in the UK. You know what I mean? Obviously, around the world, it must be a bit earlier, maybe in the evening for you lot, man. But shout out to Oski in the building, man. Big up to you, man. Always love, bro.
Shout out, y'all, man. Shout out to people in the chat for staying up with us, whatever part of the country you're from. Shout out if you're from New York. Big shout out to you. Shout out to all my brothers in here. Always a lovely talk. Always a lovely talk. Habibi, always. You know that. My boy KB, my boy Brian. Shout out Ange, even though he drives me crazy every week. But it's okay. Every week he has something very interesting. I gotta give him that. He's just sitting there and just like, what interesting tool did trigger Omar this week?
It's consistent. Man. It's consistent.
Very consistent.
Man. Big up, man. Big up. Shout out Ange.
I'm young, bro. I'm young. That I make mistakes.
Here we go.
Yo, is that you on Saeed's panel? Why are you saying you young? You on Saeed's panel? He's saying that.
I say everybody out here is an old man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. That was the craziest thing I heard today, bro. I think it's the craziest thing I heard today so far, bro.
But shout out to Anjo, man's rocking Echo, man, in 2025, though. Shout out to Anjo, man. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know.
You bringing it back.
Echo, man. You know what I mean?
Thank you,
bro.
bro.
You know.
Great show, bro. Great show.
Yeah. Big up, man. Big up, Adam. Love, bro.
Love, as always. Thank you, man, for having me. Always. Big up, everyone. It's always a pleasure. I love this show, man.
Yeah. Big up Elite Pod as well. Big up, man.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. Zip Benz or whatever your name, if you're still here.
Yeah,
sorry for working out. It's not personal. I just don't like people saying things I didn't say.
Yeah, fair enough. Big Benz is my bro still, but you gotta say what you gotta say, Brian. I can't hold you.
Wait, do you guys read the comments while the shows are going on?
Oh yeah, I do. I always see the comments.
I just say my shit, bro. Otherwise,
shout out again. Comments sometimes they
gets
just
in your head,
they
bro.
want to trigger you, but at the end of the day, it's love. You know.
Yeah. Always love.
Yeah.
Always love, man. Always love, man. Big up my guy, Coop Baller, man. Love as always, man.
Yeah, love, man. Love to everyone, as you know. Love the panel.
360 on the fade.
Always.
360 on the fade. 360 on the fade.
360.
Hey, you do TikTok, yeah? Are you a TikTok?
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I am.
You do lives or just videos?
Are you a TikToker? It's crazy.
I do videos. I don't do as much lives. I don't get as much time, but yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Are you a TikToker?
Nice.
Yeah, I am still.
Come on. Big up to you, man.
What did you say with such stress in your voice?
I'm not stressed, bro, but TikTok is a crazy place.
You get a lot of engagements, yeah? You get a lot of engagements on TikTok. It's good for you.
Here comes the Brian ending. Here comes the Brian. I mean, Ange ending. Ange, when the show about to end, something rhetorical is gonna come. I'm waiting.
Yeah, big up, man. Big up, man. Big up to the chat as well, man. Listen, my bad. I put the slow mode on every 60 seconds, man. I just clocked on now, so maybe that was, my apology on my behalf. We're gonna redirect to Flawless, man. Flawless is live, man. Big up to Flawless. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Make sure you just write in the chat, spam the chat, City in the mud. You know what I mean? Because I think he's with a City fan right now. So just shout City in the mud, and I'll see you tomorrow, man. Man, them talk. You already know what goes on around there, and
good luck, Saeed.
Yeah, good luck. I'm gonna need that, man. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.